Welcome to this edition of Miles Ahead, and this time we're looking at the Toyota Supra. Now, model tested here is the 3-litre version. It costs £56,000. Now, the 3-litre engine, as you probably know by now, is borrowed straight from BMW. Is this just a Z4 in Toyota packaging? Well, there are certainly a lot of similarities that go just beyond the engine. A lot of the switchgear inside and the iDrive infotainment system is straight out of the BMW Z4 as well, because the engine has to run with those electronics. So that's been quite handy, because we were reviewing the Rolls-Royce Cullinan last time, and a lot of the switches and infotainment system are the same as they were in that, because that also uses BMW's iDrive system. But that's probably where the Rolls-Royce comparisons end, this being around £400,000 cheaper. But I do think it's a very good looking car. There's a lot of competition in this sports market bracket here around the sort of £50,000 to £70,000 mark. You've got this, you could have the Alpine A110, you could have a Porsche Boxster, you could be in an entry-level Jaguar F-Type. So there's a lot of choice there. So why would you choose this one over those? Well, we'll try and have a look around that, and we're going to have a look around the outside now, have a look at the interior, and take it out for a drive at the end as well. But we'll start with the aesthetics as we come around the front. So one of the options to note on the outside is this pearlescent white paint. That comes in at about £700, and as part of the safety and handling pack, you get these upgraded xenon headlights across here. They do a really good job of lighting it up at night. There's a couple of things to note around the aesthetics here. There are a number of fake vents on it, so you've got fake vents there, and obviously it's the same on the other side. So it's actually got quite a small grille, but yeah, I mean, if fake vents bother you, then this definitely isn't a car for you. I think they do suit the sort of direction they were going for with the design. There's another fake vents on the top there as well. As we come round, it's fitted with 19-inch alloys, so they're black and silver options on there. They're red brake calipers as well. You can have different colours if you like. Now, as we come round, it's a very low car. It's only 1.2 metres high, so yeah, it's a couple of people have mentioned they found it a little bit difficult to get in and out of. I don't think it's too bad. I think there's definitely a knack to it. I've had it a week now, so I've got used to it, and we've driven well over 400 miles in this as well, and it's been a surprisingly good GT car actually. Something to touch upon on the drive along. As we come around to the rear, this is fitted with the two brushed exhaust tailpipes at the back here, and yeah, it's black plastic again around here as well. Now, boot space we'll touch upon as well. It's got a 290 litre boot. There's no way of opening it without the key or using the button inside the car, so you'll get your fingers dirty under there to get in there, and then yeah, there's plenty of space in there. And as you can see, there's no partition, so it goes straight through into the cabin, which yeah, is quite useful for long drives. If you've left a drink in your bag, you can just reach right behind you and grab it, which is handy. Yeah, I do quite like the presentation of it from the rear. I think the rear lip's nice. I like what they've done with the lights as well, and the Supra badging there. You can tell, like, from people's reaction to this car as well, people do like this car. You don't see that many of them on the road, and you know, I think aesthetically at least it definitely stands out in a positive way. But let's see what it's like inside. So this is the interior of the Toyota Supra. It's quite nice in here. Everything's easy to get to, everything's easily judged. As I mentioned, you've got the BMW iDrive system in the middle here. It's easy to use on the rotary wheel here and all that sort of business, and plenty of physical buttons to use for things like the heated seat, which comes as part of the comfort and convenience pack in this car, and sort out your AC and all that business as well. I will just start it up to get a nice thrum from that inline six straight away. So it's all laid out quite nicely in here. So obviously the revometer takes up the bulk of your eye line. You've got speedo on the left, but you also get head-up display on this as well, which is quite handy. Yeah, so certainly useful when you're on a motorway, because this car, yeah, does pick up quite well at motorway speed, so it's nice to have that reminder of how fast you're going at times. So it's fitted with the leather seats. These are very comfortable, heated as I mentioned. One good feature that Toyota have added in here is Isofix in the front seats, so if you do need to get a child around, that is handy. As we come on to the rest of the functionality, one thing it lacks is a bit of storage space in here. So we've got the two cup holders here, and there's a small, not very deep cubby hole just in here, which you can put a glasses case in or that sort of thing. And as you can see on the other side over here, the door bins, I mean, they're tiny. There's not really much storage space there to speak of. And the glove box as well is also quite small. You can get the handbook in there, but not an awful lot else. You get the wireless charging pad in here, again part of the convenience pack. I quite like the carbon fibre effect down here. I think that's quite nice, and the gear lever as well, easy to use as well. Other functionality to mention down here, you obviously get this sport button down here, so if you press that, it brings up the individual options on the screen up here, so you can start to configure your different options up here, so you can, yeah, set it up exactly the way you want it to be set up. But I'll pop it back into normal for now, shut that engine off. Yeah, I've done quite a lot of driving in this car. We've done 412.6 miles. I have found this a very, very comfortable place to be. I've been up to Sheffield and back. It was great on the motorway. It wasn't until I past the 3.5 hour mark that my back started screaming at me a little, but the seats are very adjustable, and it was, yeah, surprisingly comfortable as a GT car. I guess my only complaint is it is a bit barren in here. It's a bit dark. It'd be better if there was a bit more light let into the cabin somehow. It's just all a bit black, and yeah, lack of storage space is one thing to note. But yeah, as we showed on the walk around, you can just reach straight back through into the boot there, so if you are desperate for storage space, yeah, you can just reach back and use that as auxiliary internal storage when you're driving along. But yeah, I think that's enough from in here. Let's see what it's like out on the road. Crucially for the Toyota Supra, what's it like to drive? Well, we'll start with the engine note. You get quite a nice thrum from that inline six. It does make a pleasing noise. I'll flick it back out of sport mode and it just quietens things down a bit. So it's got the two driving modes as we showed on the interior shot, and they do make quite a marked difference. So we're back in normal now, and it all just sort of slackens off a bit, softens. Press that sport button again, it holds a slightly lower gear, bring the paddles into play, and then you can really get it talking. So it's the 3-litre inline six from the BMW Z4. It produces 335 brake horsepower, 500 newton meters of torque, and that is enough to send this from 0 to 60 in just 4.2 seconds. So it is not slow, and it feels quick as well. We're out on a country road at the moment, so this is probably more the setting that you would associate something like the Toyota Supra with. And I've got to say, it's quite enjoyable to drive actually, which it needs to be. The steering's incredibly sharp. It doesn't take much input to get it moving. You know, it's almost like Ferrari levels of sharpness. So if you don't like sharp steering, that would be a no-no. But I mean, it's quite responsive. I mean, you get quite a lot of feedback through it as well. The steering wheel's always responding to the road in front of you, so even in a straight line, it's always alive in your hands, which is good. Because that feeds into the chassis as well, because you always know what that's doing as well. So it's quite an involving drive, which is good. And yeah, you can bring the paddles into play as well, and that responds really well to what's going on as well underneath. It just does change down the gears quite nicely, and then shoots up through them as well as you ride that crest of power, and it really does power through. Once the turbocharger kicks in, you can really feel the extra shove that provides. As mentioned on the walk around, it's also incredibly comfortable on the motorway as well. We've done over 400 miles up to Sheffield and back, and I was surprised at just how good it was in that setting. And it's also very good out in this B road setting as well, which is, yeah, which you'd want it to be. So we also mentioned at the top, you've got quite a lot of choice in the £50,000 to £60,000 sports car market. So you've got this, you've got the Alpine A110, you can have an entry-level Porsche Boxster, you can have the entry-level Jaguar F-Type as well. This has got more grunt than the entry-level F-Type, so that comes with the 2-litre engine, does 0 to 60 in about 5.3 seconds. We reviewed one of those on the channel last year, really like that. The Cayman is an excellent car as well. Porsche being Porsche, you know what you're getting there. I've not driven the Alpine A110, but you don't see too many of them around. You don't see too many of these around as well. You see quite a lot of Caymans and F-Types about. So they've obviously been the biggest sellers with punters. So I've not read a bad review of the Alpine A110, and I do really like this as well. Another Supra on the road there, so just was saying don't see too many of them though. That was one of the original, one of the 90s ones that gave the Supra its massive cult following. So this is definitely something for the contrarians. I think you'd get this because it's a little bit different. It stands out in a positive way, I think. I mean, it looks unmistakably Japanese. It looks like a Supra, which is a good thing. You know, there's slightly outlandish looks to it, which I quite like, and that's attracted a lot of positive attention. People asking questions about it at petrol stations, and you know, wanting to know, well, is it a 2-litre or a 3-litre, and that sort of thing. So this is the 3-litre as we mentioned, and they are going to be doing this with a manual gearbox towards the end of the year. I think that's going to be excellent actually. This has got the ubiquitous ZF8 speed box, and that does do a really good job. I mean, it is just a good gearbox, which is why so many car manufacturers use it. It's evolving enough with the paddles and all that sort of thing, but I think, yeah, having stick shift in this would make a bit of a difference, and I think that will probably shift a few units for them, I would have thought, because people, you know, you just don't see too many stick shift cars around these days. Everything's going automatic. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see what that's like towards the end of the year. I mean, just to wrap up, you know, it being a sports car, it needs to excite, it needs to be comfortable, it needs to be something that you can daily, and this car absolutely nails that brief. It really does. I guess the only problem it's got is just the competition it's up against. There's a lot in that bracket, so it's muscling into a very competitive marketplace and going up against some well-established names. But it's probably the sort of car that you'd have to really want to get it. But if you did really want one and you got one, it's not going to disappoint. It's not going to disappoint. It is good fun to drive, and it's got plenty of power, surprisingly comfortable. It's got firm ride, but not too firm. Nice sharp steering. I quite like that about it, and there's so much traction to work with as well. You'd have to be driving like an absolute lunatic to get it to brake. Even though with, you know, flinging it into roundabouts and that sort of thing, you know, the back end just stays well and truly planted the whole time, which is good. So you can have fun, but you can have safe fun, and that's important, isn't it, I think. So yeah, in conclusion, I've really liked this car. It's done everything I've needed it to do this week, and yeah, like I say, if it's the sort of car you want, it's not going to disappoint. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and please also consider subscribing. We've got loads of videos on the channel, and we've got loads more lined up as well, so it would be great to see you again soon. Thanks.